Hello, Leo. Amanda here. Welcome to Unseen Hands Healing. This is going to be your small story reading here in December. So, as opposed to the larger big shift readings that happen monthly, which look at a larger energy transition that you're going through this month, these are intending to zoom in on something more specific that may be going on for some of you here in December. All right. So, or really anytime that you're viewing this. So, for these readings, a book tends to speak to me that wants to come forward for you here, Leo. And then I will choose a passage at random to read to you. And then we will go to cards and illuminate the story. So for you, very clearly a couple of my chakra books were coming out. Chakras are the energy, talking about the energy centers in the body. Okay, at least 7 main energy centers in the body. And so today we are reading from Carolyn Myss, Anatomy of the Spirit. And we're honing in here on your second chakra, Leo. I'm going to read you some tidbits that seem to be important for you right now with this story. The second chakra organs. Okay, the second chakra, by the way, for those of you who don't know, right below the belly button. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's what we're connecting in here with. The second chakra organs record all our interactions in which we give our word to other people, make promises and commitments to them, or accept their promises. A strong personal code of ethics radiates a perceptible quality of energy. This part of our biology also records the promises we make to ourselves. All right, the ethics and morals of the second chakra provide us with a language through which we can communicate what we accept and don't accept in human relationships. Ethics hold enormous bonding power. We seek out the company of those who hold the same sense of right and wrong as we do. Okay, I'm just deciding what I want to read to you. Because the second chakra harbors all of our individual survival fears, we have constructed an external legal system that supports some semblance of fair play, which is crucial to our well-being. Exercising legal power or even using legal vocabulary provides a release valve of sorts for pressures that build up in the second chakra. The need for fair play and law and order is felt in our biology, where we observe physical laws of health such as exercise, proper nutrition, conscious regulation of stress, and a measure of consistency and order. These laws signal to our physiology that we are physically safe and trust our environment. Instability, by contrast, keeps our adrenaline flowing full strength and our fight or flight mechanism on continual alert. The physical body cannot endure prolonged stress without producing negative biological responses. All right, finally, last part I'm going to share here. The second chakra conveys the symbolic meaning of taking communion with oneself. That is, agreeing with yourself to make yourself whole and balanced. So long as a dysfunctional part of your nature negatively influences the rest of your system, your energy will feel depleted, divided against itself. Because humans are, by nature, a species that seeks law and order, we fall easily under the control and sway of people who project authority or seek to control. Our instinct to trust the people with whom we live and work is an extension of the energy of honor one another, which is the energy of the second chakra. It is unnatural to feel that you have to look over your shoulder while trying to create something together with other people. Yet many people misuse power to control rather than support others. Okay, so there's something happening here already, Leo, about dynamics in interpersonal relationship, questions of fairness, questions of reciprocity, questions of justice. There's major justice card energy here, big time Libra energy. And also essentially talking about the contracts we have with others and how those contracts are a reflection of the contracts we have with ourselves. And how when they are in alignment, we feel a sense of stability. And when they are not, when something is off in our contracts with ourselves, or our contracts with others are not actually reflecting our contracts with ourselves, our commitments, our covenants to ourselves, there's a sense of instability that can create this underlying fight or flight type stress. Okay. Let's see what comes out in the cards. I do want to start by saying this. So I've got a couple decks out here, the Wildwood, which we will draw from here momentarily, and I have the fairy, Brian Froud's fairies as well. And in your pre-shuffle, a fairy already came out here. I want to just show you this joyful card. The fairy who was kissed by the pixies. So Leo, there's a lot of sweetness in this card. You know, look at the look on this fairy's face. I mean, just absolutely delighted to be here. You know, like, oh, I'm so happy to be here with all of you. There's something here about the sweetness that this person is feeling surrounded, this fairy in this case, is feeling surrounded by this community of pixies, feeling kissed by those around us. And there's a question for me arising as to whether you are feeling kissed by those around you. And by that, I mean, I could mean literally, you know, if we're talking about intimate partnerships, but I could also just be talking about work relationships. I could be talking about friendships. Are you feeling joy? Are you feeling your heart leaping with the people who are around you? And if not, perhaps there is something out of alignment in your covenant with yourself, or those relationships are not helping you to keep your covenant with yourself in a way. Okay, let's go to the Wildwood and see what wants to come out about this story here, this small story for Leo, please. Two more, please. Whoop, too many. The generosity card just flipped. One more. All right. Let's see, what have we got? Oh, sneaky hidden card. Interesting. There was one underneath. Okay, 4 cards here. Oh, wow. Great. So let's take a look. This is a pretty clear story emerging for some Leos out there. Here's what we got from the Wildwood. Make sure you can see all of this. Endurance, the breath of life, instruction, and the bear here as the Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Stones. So I'm getting that there is a situation, this is sort of what I've already been feeling perhaps for some of you. There's a situation that you have been enduring for some time now in relationship. And it feels like being left out in the cold. There's a couple of children in this spread, if you noticed. Here's the child feeling left out in the cold. There's questions of parenting here, which could be literal for some of you if children are involved. Could also just be talking about the way you parent yourself or the way that you parent your heart. All right, the way you are a guardian, a guide for your own inner child, your own sensitive bits. 5 of Pentacles, there's a feeling of lack. There's a feeling of enduring lack in your life. There is a relationship, is how I'm feeling it, with and it does feel like an intimate relationship, but take this how it resonates for you. I'm feeling an intimate relationship that is not reciprocal, and it leaves someone, and perhaps a child or something like that, someone's inner child, feeling like they're out in the cold and having to endure this storm, weather this storm all alone in this cave. You know, imagine this child alone in this cave while there's a huge lightning storm happening and they're just sitting here alone by the fire. It's tough energy. But then, oh, and I want to say this too. There's something, you know, this person is in protect mode, which is what we heard from the reading from Carolyn Myss, being in, you know, enduring prolonged seasons of stress in our life puts us into fight or flight mode. And that's what I'm seeing in this child, all curled up and trying to find warmth in the core of their body, trying to keep their extremities warm, sort of. And I'm seeing this sense of dissatisfaction on this person's face, and yet there is something here about staying in a situation that feels dissatisfying because you're just sort of like poking at the fire. Afraid to move. Afraid. There's so much fear here and exhaustion because this person is in such a state of nervous system overaction, of nervous system fight or flight. And then look at this, the breath of life, a breath of fresh air, something new energy coming in, the smoke clearing something out. This is incredibly auspicious. Oh, wow. And look at this. I realize that this symbol is, I believe it's actually a symbol for a horse from the wildwood. But what I'm seeing is this smoke emanating from between the legs, which is absolutely second chakra energy. Again, down below the belly button, containing all of the sex organs, okay? So there's something here about a clearance, something new, some freshness emanating from your second chakra. And with the arrow, I'm getting that there's now like clarity, clear direction. Whereas over here is just sort of poking the flame, enduring this BS over and over and over. And then all of a sudden there's this like arrow that shoots up in clarity about this second chakra issue, which seems to be an issue of fairness. I'm being drawn back to that part of the passage at the end. They're talking about when you're trying to create something together with another person, you shouldn't have to feel like you're looking over your shoulder all the time. And perhaps the Ace of Swords, okay, the Ace of Arrows, the breath of life in this deck is the realization about that. The realization that you are putting your literal child or perhaps your inner child in a position of nervous system overaction, of having to constantly look over their shoulder, having to be in fight or flight mode, of not feeling safe. Carolyn Myss is connecting the second chakra to the first chakra, which is the root chakra, the base of us, down below, like by our perineum, all right? The very base of our being, that pelvic floor, which really holds our sense of safety. When we have that base sense of safety at our root, then our second chakra can feel safe to connect with other people. All right. And when we connect with others, we are creating these covenants between us. But, and also that hopefully reinforce our covenants with ourselves. And so there's something here where I think you've been enduring a situation that does not fundamentally feel safe for you. And now the realization is coming that that's the case and it's clearing out. Or perhaps enduring a situation that you're realizing, Ace of Swords, realization is actually not fundamentally safe for a child that is in your care, whether that be a literal child or your inner child. Because then we have instruction. Now we see the parent stepping up to the plate and taking that arrow. Look at this. This is nice. This is real good looking. Taking that arrow and putting it to use in a bow. Now the bow is the vehicle to launch that arrow into a direction. It's one thing to have the realization, it's the next thing to take action. And I do believe we are dealing with an intimate partnership / maybe family situation with children involved somehow. Because we're looking at the 10 of Pentacles, 10 of arrows being looked at as instruction. Arrows, again, being swords. Instruction. We've got an elder parenting a younger, which again could just be your elder version of yourself, parenting the younger version of yourself that you carry with you. Taking that truth, that realization, and giving it the vehicle to move forward towards true nurturance. This is the target. Hitting the target is what I'm seeing in this dynamic. It's so funny, Leo, because for months now, I mean months on this channel, the message that has been coming through for you is all about what is true nurturance. What does your heart need to feel nurtured, to feel safe, to feel like you can love freely, to feel like you can open up, to feel like there's a sense of fairness, okay, for this reading, to feel kissed by the pixies, right? So sweet, all right? That kind of nurturance invites this feeling of being kissed by the pixies into your life. And we've been dealing with this dynamic of a Queen of Pentacles in your life, this mama bear energy that provides that kind of true nurturance is how it's been coming through. And so it's like, what I'm seeing is like, you're being malnourished here, or your child or inner child is being malnourished. And then you realize that and put that realization into action to move towards this Queen of Pentacles, this mama bear, whoever this is. Maybe this is a specific person in your life. Perhaps this is just a realization around what you want or what your heart needs to feel nurtured, embodied in this bear energy. It's sort of like I'm seeing this bear coming out of hibernation, or maybe going into hibernation. You pick. You pick whatever resonates with you for that. But I'm seeing the bear sort of suddenly coming out into the light of day, having been in the dark cave, because that's what this feels like. You know, having been in the darkness of the cave here with all the storms going on, and then suddenly now having the proper help to teach yourself or be taught how to move forward with your truth, aligned with your truth. Again, the covenants we keep with ourselves towards being in relationship with others, maybe one specific other, in a way that helps you keep your covenant with yourself, in a way that doesn't leave you sitting and stranded out in the cold. It's like the dawn is breaking. Suddenly they're at the mouth of the cave and they see the light. The light at the end of the tunnel. We've got a full moon coming up. Full moon in Gemini on the 12th of December. The light at the end of the tunnel. And if you've been following my channel, following my work, the posts on Instagram and Patreon, you'll know that I've been channeling this feeling of being in the crawl space, being in this tunnel, moving towards the light. And perhaps for some of us, the light at the end of that tunnel is that full moon in Gemini on December 12th this week. I want you to feel kissed by the pixies. I want you to feel kissed by the pixies, Leo. And it's all about the way that you make choices that help you take the best care of yourself that you possibly can. And part of making those choices, it starts with you taking care and nurturing yourself first, and then choosing relationships that help you continue to take care of yourself and that also take care of you. Okay, I'm going to keep pulling cards. If this is your story and you know this is resonating with you, consider joining me over on Vimeo. So there'll be a little preview at the end of this reading where you can get a glimpse into the extended reading. We're going to continue to pull cards. We're going to use some other decks to unpack this scenario and see what's really going on. And you can view that by clicking the link in the description below. It'll take you over to Vimeo where you can view that extended instantly. All right, Leo, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great holiday and the rest of December, and I'll talk to you soon. Not a great influence. I'm actually seeing like a negative influence in your current surroundings that is not offering abundance. I'll show you these cards upright so you can see. This says influence, this says abundance, and you'll see influence meaning like the gravitational pull of the nearby planets. So what I'm feeling, the gravitational pull of relationships that you have, that you are surrounded by, that you have in your intimate sphere, because we are looking at second chakra energy. That's intimate relationships, one-on-one intimate relationships. There is, and I'm saying it because it's reversed here. I'm getting this very clear, specific message that there is this intimate relationship that is creating the sense of lack. There is not as much abundance in this relationship as is needed to co-create. This is not co-creation. This is this person weathering the storm, basically just surviving on the bare minimum. Their body is going to give out if they continue to live under these circumstances, if they continue to endure these circumstances. They are not working with enough. It is not enough. You know, you hear folks talk about lack mentality, and I'm not saying that's not a thing, but what I'm seeing here is that, no, really, this is not enough. Like the Leo that I'm picking up on here, that you folks, whatever this is, it's not the situation truly is not enough. You are being deprived in a way of something very basic and essential to your being.